Welcome back to another episode of the Growing Our Future in Weekly County Schools podcast. I'm Megan Jolly, Director of Communications, and your host. This podcast is a production of Weekly County Schools in partnership with Forever Communications and sponsored by the Sonics of Weekly County. Today, we're shining a light on the unsung heroes of our classrooms, our educational assistants. These dedicated professionals provide essential support to teachers and students, creating a learning environment where every child can thrive. From guiding small groups to offering one-on-one support, educational assistants play a crucial role in our students' success. But what does the day in their life really look like? What moments stand out as truly life-changing? And what would they like the community to understand about their work? We'll answer all of these questions and more and get an inside look at the impact our educational assistants make every day. Let's get started. Okay, so thank you guys so much for being here. The first thing that I want to do to let our listeners get to know you is just if you'll let us know who you are, what school you're from, stuff like that. That way we can get an idea of who we're talking to.
Okay. My name is Beth Ivy. I have worked as an EA in the school system for nearly 11 years. I work at Martin Elementary School, and I started out as a substitute teacher, actually.
Okay.
And then was asked to do the job of VA. Of course, I took that up and love it.
Yes. We're so glad to have you. We are so glad to have you.
I'm Miranda Hill. I started in January as a Sped EA at Sharon. And I love it.
Yes. Okay. So we have two very passionate guests today, and I can't wait to hear all that you guys have to tell us. So what you've kind of told us a little bit about your path to the job, but what drew you to that role specifically?
Well, I've always loved children and working with children. After I graduated from college, my sons were in the school system already.
Okay.
So I started substitute teaching for Weekly County. I did that for almost 2 years when I got the call to work. And in particular, they asked me to work in the library, which I absolutely loved and jumped on.
Yes, that's such a fun place to work in, and exciting, always a good environment to be in. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
I took a class in college,
Uh-huh.
and we went to Sharon, and we went to the Sped rooms, and I loved it. I fell in love with it. And then whenever I graduated college, my professor reached out to me and told me the position came up, and I took it.
And you just jumped right
I
on
jumped
it.
right
And
in
we
it.
are so lucky to have, like I said, such passionate people who are just good, so good. So can you tell me, what does a typical day look like for you? Like what are some of the roles that you help with? What's a typical day look like?
So I am around the building. I start my day in library,
Okay.
helping our amazing librarian, Charlie. I will see 4 to 5 classes and help her with those classes. We provide lessons, activities, and I also help with checking out books, circulation and maintenance of the library, just facilitating any needs that she has. And then halfway through the day, I go into the lunchroom and monitor lunchroom. So that's my time to visit with everyone.
Social, yes.
Yeah, social
Yes.
social time. And then the last half of the day, I actually teach RTI classes for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, which are individualized, structured classes that are specific to their needs. And most of the children in those classes struggle with reading.
Okay.
And so I really enjoy that.
So how do you approach those RTI classes?
Well, they are set up as tiered groups. I actually teach tier 3. So those who have been through the other groups, they come to me, and we have certain lesson plans that we follow, a lot of individualized support to try to get their reading skills up. We work slowly to build on fluency, comprehension, and just confidence in reading.
Confidence
is
in
important
yes.
too.
Yes. So what are some of the like activities or examples of something that you might do with them?
So we do a lot of Spire. We have a set lesson plan that we do. It's called Spire. We do that, but we also try to mix it up. So I like to make it fun. I like to make it moving. We have games that we play. We throw in when we can.
Yes.
But most of ours, we have a specific way that we
structure.
follow.
Okay.
So they get used to that routine. They depend behind on that routine, but it also helps them know what's coming, and it builds that confidence that they may not have when they first enter.
Yes, which we know, like when we're going into these situations, if they feel prepared and they feel confident, they're so much more ready to learn.
Absolutely.
And so much more able to take that information in and apply it, whereas they're not worrying the whole time. I mean, it's just like anything else that we do.
Right.
You know, if we can go into it knowing, okay, like I can do this, then we're going to do it so much better.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. What about you?
Okay, so I currently split my time from Dresden to Sharon.
Okay.
So in the mornings I'm at Dresden, then I'll leave and go to Sharon around 1.
Okay.
So in Dresden, I see a student from one-on-one,
Okay.
and I help her one-on-one individual support, and we just spend the day together, just manage behaviors and things like that.
Okay.
And then I leave and go to Sharon and work with the student one-on-one there
Okay.
and manage behaviors there.
Okay. And like I said, I said typical day, and I should have qualified that, because I'm sure you guys don't have necessarily typical days. I'm sure everything is always changing.
And we fill in where we're needed.
And
as
you,
well.
yes, y'all flow so well between everybody, and it's such a support. So, what are some of those ways that you support students and teachers?
Whether it's administering tests or just being
Okay.
a supervisor, like for a minute, the teacher has to step out of the classroom.
Okay,
or
okay.
things
So
like
really
that.
providing a strong support system for the entire school. I mean, the entire school system. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, individualized support with students. We help teachers. They may need us for a few moments in the classroom. A lot of us EAs, we provide help with lesson planning, whether it's making copies or helping them get ready for their days. We help with technological things. And just building a rapport with the students is so important as well.
Just having that extra layer of support with students, I can see where that would make a huge, huge difference. So is there a moment that sticks out as far as when you truly felt something click with a student, or when you could feel that impact that you were making? And when I say that, I realize those moments aren't every single day. But is there one that kind of sticks out in your mind as really making a difference?
I think for me, I have lots of moments like that, especially in RTI class.
Yeah.
A lot of children that enter our RTI classes in the beginning, initially at the beginning of the year, have very low self-confidence about their reading. They're self-conscious. They're scared to read in front of their peers. They don't feel like they add up to their peers. And so my job, and as all EAs, our job is to lift that confidence and make them feel pride, and also to set small goals for them. So when they accomplish those goals, they feel a sense of happiness. It's so important to see that smile and almost like their back straightens.
Yes,
And
you
that
see
I
that
can do
physical
it.
change.
The
Yes.
light bulb goes off.
Yes.
And so that is something that I really strive to do with my RTI children, but also in the library, little things such as finding a book that a kid's been looking for weeks and they can't get because someone's always having it, or searching out a new series for a child to read and figuring out what they like to read, and then they get into that series and they love it and they come and say thank you for doing that. So it's so important. The little things matter. The little moments
100%.
keep you
And
going.
those little moments, though, like one thing that you said about the library, I'm a huge reader, so I love a library. But when you're talking about building those connections where kids are excited to come into the library, they're excited to look for the next book in a series, and that just builds more of that confidence. It builds more of those relationships. More of the trust that we're going to talk about here in a second, where I feel like that is such a imperative role that you guys play. And what about you, Miranda? Did you have any?
Like working with sped children, definitely. Like
Yes.
Maybe it's like learning to tie your shoe and like you weren't able to, and then you see
Yes.
it, and that's such a huge goal for some of them.
A huge,
like-
huge accomplishment.
Or, like,
Absolutely.
Working with nonverbal children, and then them saying words that are just make your day.
Yes,
Like, learning to get
absolutely.
from-
And just realizing how you can bring them
From where they
from
started.
one, and I think that we focus so much on helping kids where they're at and just getting them better. Whereas we're not necessarily saying, okay, you have to be here. We're saying, okay, here's where you're at, and I love that you guys provide that support to create those stepping stones for kids, and that's so important. So what are are there any specific ways that you can explain to us how you build trust and strong relationships with those students?
I just get them to know me. I get to know what their hobbies are, their interests are, bring them into the classroom, kind of let them see, what we're about, what they're about, things like that.
And I think that the connection there, that's a big thing that we love, that connection of realizing that, like, these are kids.
Right.
These are kids, and we have to relate to them. And in order for them to come to make that progress, they need to relate to us.
Right.
And so I love the personal connections that we get to make as far as helping them get there.
Right.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think the social aspect is such a huge, important thing for us and for them, having someone that they can connect with, someone who cares about their day. Teachers obviously do. It helps to also have us as EAs to know about those little moments, what they're going to do for their birthdays, how their weekends went, when they're having bad days, coming and talking to you. I think getting to know them as much as you can in the time that you have is so important to build trust.
Right.
And the more trust, the more confidence, the more they can build. And I think that you guys are doing so much of that in their work to build that things. And we are so grateful for that. So when you are working with these students, how are you seeing the role that maybe like the routine or the structure or school is playing in their development?
Oh, it definitely builds their character. I can see
Okay.
school is such a social setting, and like just seeing them with their peers, or like,
Yeah.
it definitely builds their character and who they're going to be later in life.
Absolutely. And I think that's an interesting thing, because it gives them, like you said, your peers. You have, your teachers. You have several levels of being able to be social and interact and learn how to be around people. That is so much more than just the traditional learning that we all think about when we think of school.
Right.
There's so much more to it. Absolutely.
Yeah, the public school system is so important, and it builds their character and them as a human being. We build on what their families and parents have instilled in them, their traits, and the social aspect of it is so important, their emotional health, and academic, of course, celebrating those things with them, their accomplishments, teaching them problem solving and critical thinking skills.
Yes.
Just being an emotional support when they need it, and celebrating the victories and helping them work through the difficulties as well, because school, that's what it's there for, is teamwork, figuring out what your challenges are and trying to overcome those.
And I think that one thing you said, the challenges and helping them understand how to overcome difficulties, because we know those difficulties are not going to stop when we get out of school. We know that, the things that we are experiencing in school, we're going to keep experiencing something like that as we get older, as we grow up. And so I think that is where school plays such a big role for our kids, is it helps them to see things differently. It helps them to solve problems differently and think critically and say, okay, this is a way to look at these things, and this is how I can overcome that. So when you are thinking about this role, I think that this role might be one where it seems to be kind of a mystery to some people. So what is one thing that you wish the community knew about this role?
I think we play so many different roles and wear so many different hats.
Yes.
And it goes most of the time quietly in the background and unnoticed. And that's just who we are. We fill in where we can. We help when we can. It might be uncomfortable to say we are one of the lowest paid positions in the school. We show up because we love the kids.
You are here
We
because,
show
yes.
up because we want to support parents and teachers. We love our schools. We love our administration. And we hope that they care about us as much as we do them.
Oh, and I know from just my short time in this system, truly do. They truly do. Everyone knows the important work that EAs do.
Right.
We do. Yes, ma'am.
like when people think about EAs, they may think about academic roles, but there's, like you said, more roles. There's like the emotional role, like we're there for the child. Like you help them feel valued and safe, and we let them know that. And that's just so important.
This conversation, I think, is going to be such an eye-opener for so many people to realize all of the different roles that you guys play and just the importance of those roles. And I am so thankful for the work that you do, and I know that so many people throughout our county, our system, everywhere is thankful as well. So thank you guys so much for being here and for just sharing your insights with us.
Yeah, we're thankful, and there's so many EAs that do so many different things. I'm so thankful for all of them that pull out students and work individually and are all over the building all day long. They truly are amazing human beings.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all so much.
A message from the Sonic Department of Research and Deliciousment.
The best part of the Sonic Strawberry Mangonada Slush con Tajín is probably the sweet strawberry. Oh, the tangy mango. El Tajín. Okay, esto está difícil. Discover the Strawberry Mangonada Slush and many more flavors in the Sonic app.
A message from the Sonic Department of Research and Deliciousment.
Did you know your new favorite burger has hand-smashed patties made to order, hot and melty cheese, and a tangy sauce? How rude of me. Let me introduce you. Try the Double Sonic Smasher and at a half price drink in the app.
You want to live free?
A huge thank you to Beth and Miranda for sharing their experiences and giving us a deeper understanding of the vital role educational assistants play in our schools. Their dedication, patience, and ability to connect with students truly make a difference every single day. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, share, and leave a review. That just helps us reach more people and continue these important conversations. Remember, you can catch us on demand on Google Podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Thanks again for being here, and we'll see you next time.